Girl, I'll make you so much better. Oh, Bowser! Oh, Raccoon. Oh, it's on? What's up, guys? This is Vanilla. Not a flavor, but just a sweet. You can ignore what happened a while ago. That's just not. Don't talk about it, okay? Now, I'm sure you've noticed how some anime usually present Western culture through dark magic or the occult.
And maybe even our guilty pleasure animes.
And because of it, some people claim it as hedonistic or unholy. Yeah, trust me, even I get pissed off when people say, if you watch anime, you're worshipping the devil. And that's why today, I'm gonna be delivering the defense of anime themes. First off, let's enumerate a few series and its themes, and discuss why people might think it promotes evil. So as examples, I'm gonna be giving 3 of my favorite series. To Love Ru, Bleach, Spirited Away. Now let's start with To Love Ru. And of course I'd start with this. I mean, this is my #1 anime. If you can see on Mal, it's just To Love Ru and then probably Grisaya down there, but it's still To Love Ru. So the story revolves around a lucky bastard named Rito who has a crush on this girl Haruna, but don't have the balls to confess. Then while he's in the bath, a beautiful girl appears out of nowhere. Turns out, the girl who fell, Lala Sitanul Deviluk, was the princess of a planet called Deviluk. Since she arrived, Rito's had countless falls and relationship to the point of thinking him being the king, getting his own harem, and ruling the entire universe. I mentioned a lot of themes and names that relate to biblical demons and such, but let's start off with the characters. The names of the Devilukians, as expected of their origin, are from demons from Christian mythology. Gid's name, Lucion, came from Lucifer. Lala's name, Satan, came from Satan. Lala's name, Astar, came from Astaroth. And Momo's name, Belia, is from, well, Belia. Oh, their names. The devils, y'all, the devils. Well, yes, but not all of them are named as such. Let's not forget Gid's wife, Sephi Michaela Deviluk, where the Michaela actually stands for Saint Michael. Of course, you'd say it won't count because she's a Charmian, right? That's heresy! It's not heresy. Remember that King Gid isn't technically the ruling king. It's actually Queen Selphie. Feminism following! And King Gid just wants to be replaced by Rito. He hasn't really done much for the galaxy after the war. But guess who is? That's right, Queen Selphie. She was the one behind the politics, the economics, and everything kings are supposed to do. Gid is only powerful physically and cannot do the job as a king. And let's not forget that it was Sephi who came up to him, not the other way around. So you could say she overpowered him, yeah? So really all I can think about when reading or seeing this theme is the song Girl on Fire. This girl is on fire! But what about Lala falling to earth and cursing Rito to do sinful situations? That's the metaphor of the devil telling you to do sin. Again, no it's not. To begin with, Rito's house was even more lively when Lala came into the picture. And here's where the magic happens. Every time a villain steps foot in Sinan, they become more peaceful. Lala first came to Earth to abduct Lala and assassinate Rito, but in time she learned to live peacefully and eventually fall in love. Nemesis, on the other hand, was the villain in Darkness. But after being defeated, she learned to live in peace instead after seeing how everyone lived carefree. In short, it's the people who go to Sinan that actually changes. Those who go to Sinan shed their evil skin to make a better them. Then what about the presence of lust through sexual innuendo? Okay, this one pisses me off the most. Now, I already talked about this before. If you haven't seen the previous video, here's a link. I'll leave it here. Yeah, I'm going now. Anyway, just to add up on that, let's be clear on one thing. Sex is a natural act. It's not a sinful act unless its motives are immoral. An example of this is cheating on your wife or raping someone. This is so controversial. Why am I talking about this? Having sex isn't an evil act. Neither is sexual innuendo. Now, the reason why priests or monks don't do it is because they devoted themselves not to do it based on their religion. Realistically, without sex, we'd all go extinct. But like everything else, it must be done responsibly. Yeah, sure, I might be a virgin, but it doesn't really mean that I don't know anything about sex. Great. Now my self-esteem is gone. Ugh.
Can I lay by your side?
Then, what about the harem clan? Polygamy is wrong! Well, it really depends on your religion or your culture. Some cultures see nothing wrong with polygamy as long as they can provide their wives financially. I also talked about this in the past, and here's a link below if you want to see it. I am elegant. It's just that society doesn't look at the same way as that person because their beliefs don't match what the society wants. But that's exactly what makes culture diverse and interesting. I mean, rejecting someone's culture is no different from being a heretic. Wow, I ranted longer than usual. Anyway, those are the reasons why Tulavru doesn't promote demons and crap. Speaking of which, let's move on to our next example, which is
Spirited Away.
the story revolves around a girl named Chihiro who gets lost in a spirit world. And so she works at a bathhouse in order to restore her parents' bodies and go back to their new home. The show was so amazing that it won an Oscar, and it deserves that respect because it's so freaking good. It's one of my favorites. There's so much to talk about when it comes to Spirited Away. I mean, even Joey talked about it in one of his videos. Here in the card, you can click it. It's very interesting and stuff. So I'll just focus on the presentation of spirits. So a lot of people would usually ask, why do those spirits look like monsters? Well, it's just the one thing we call cultural diversity. In the West, monsters are usually regarded as evil creatures who kill humans or eat humans. Well, it's quite similar with the East, but there is a big difference. In the West, monsters are usually created through the person's minds. And these monsters' objectives is to bring fear to humans. But here in the East, monsters come from Mother Nature. Heck, in some countries, we actually give them respect. In the Philippines, we can't turn away from a duende because they'll curse us. But they won't do anything if you treat them nicely. These monsters were created to teach people how to act properly. For example, for the story of a manananggal, the story is presented so that people would know not to talk to strangers that easily. I mean, you might not know, they might be a flying monster who would rip apart their legs just so that they could eat you whole and take your legs out. That's so gross. And yes, I know these things because I watched it on Once Upon a Time when I was a kid. Man, I miss that show. In Japan, we have what they call a yokai or ayakashi depending on which district you're from. They're basically evil spirits that dwell in the earth. Yokai can be found everywhere and they can take on a lot of forms. A fox, a frog, a raccoon, a big ass skeleton, and all these are regarded as simply a part of nature. They live in a way that they are assigned to by Mother Nature, and most of them don't really harm humans. When they do, it's usually the effect of carelessness or rude acts done by that person. Anyway, Gaijin Goomba tackles a lot about this stuff, so I'll just leave his card here if you're interested. Lastly, in China, monsters don't act like monsters at all. They act more like spirits or deities. For example, Western people see dragons as a dragon is a mythical winged reptile, an authoritarian or grim being. But a Chinese dragon is, get this, a mythical serpent-like creature, a wise or blessed being. See? Two different things, and the only thing keeping them apart is culture. Now the next series that I'm going to talk about is Bleach.
Oh, Grim Reapers, they take all your spirits and then put you down to hell.
Where are they getting these ideas? You see, Grim Reapers in the West are not exactly the same as Grim Reapers in the East. Now, in the West, Grim Reapers are those that take the personification of death itself. But in Japan, Shinigamis, or Grim Reapers as they call it, are living creatures that take people's lives so they can expand their own. So in Japan, Shinigami's life is a do-or-die situation. It's really survival of the fittest. They cannot live without human lives. And even Bleach shows how different it is from the Grim Reaper in the West. I mean, Shinigamis can also purify evil spirits. That's not something you see every day, and that's why I love that series. At least now you know how different cultures interpret these spirits differently. Just because it's evil in the West doesn't necessarily mean it's evil in the East. We each have our own way of interpreting a certain phenomena, and it's by understanding these diverse opinions that we can see how big the world really is. And yes, this can be applied to anime and manga. One theme does not govern the entirety. Anime and manga has so much more to offer than most of us believe. And the presentation of these themes is exactly why people love anime. They get to experience a world apart from theirs. And what's so evil about sharing a culture? But what about you guys? What do you guys think? Does anime promote evil? Anyway, you can leave all your comments in the comment section below. And if you want me to defend anything else, you can just place them in the comments below as well. Thanks for watching, hope you learned, and if you did enjoy, leave a like and also subscribe down there for more videos like this. As always, this is vanilla, not a flavor, but just a sweet.